Hello and welcome to the second episode of Netcon podcast. My name is Deep. I'm from content and marketing at Netcon, and I have Mr. Rohit with me today. He is cloud practicing head at Netcon. Did I get your designation right?
Yes,
Okay. So, uh, good morning, Rohit. How are you?
I'm doing good. Hi, Deep. Good morning.
Welcome to the show, Rohit. Thank you for doing this. But before we jump into all the nitty-gritties of cloud, let me just come to you and ask you about your professional journey. So, like, where did you start and how long it has been?
So it has been around a very fascinating journey, and it has been around 20 plus years. All these years, I have been always customer facing, and I started with the NIIT Technologies, which has been renamed to Coforge now. I spent around 5 years there doing development and education and training in various branches of India. And then
Okay.
I joined Microsoft India in Bangalore. So I was supporting the NA customers and working with the escalation product team. And we were responsible for doing the bug fixes and specifying the feedback to the product engineering teams. And then I was wearing multiple hats there in Microsoft. So I also went on site, global, domestic, international, to help customers and meet SLAs and help them understand what is the overall benefit of cloud and how they can convert their TCO to CAPEX from OPEX and OPEX
Oh,
to CAPEX, right? So these are
oh,
certain points which every customer is looking at, and they want to do the cloud economics in their journey, transformation journey.
hmm, okay. So when you first started out, did you imagine that you would be working at Microsoft? You would have such an expansive and illustrious career so far.
No, I never imagined in my dreams that I would work for Microsoft. But yes, it was a dream come true, and I spent more than a decade there and
Okay.
multiple roles in the same industry. So most of them
Hmm.
were going on site and helping customers direct face to face troubleshooting and helping them do the pain points rectifications.
Hmm. Okay. How did you cultivate this fascination with cloud? Like, was it something that you discovered while you were studying, or was it later on in your professional journey?
I am very intrigued with the idea of working with Microsoft. It was always Windows operating system which enchanted me towards the IT industry. And I used to, in
Okay.
initial years, create my own screensavers and sell it to
Okay.
the people. Um,
Hmm.
so that fascinated me and moved me towards the IT industry overall.
Yeah. Okay. So, what is one biggest challenge so far that you have faced? Like one that tested you?
Oh, the biggest challenge which I have faced are multiple, but let me give you one fascinating example where I was responsible for converting the overall SLA in and doing the troubleshooting for the enterprise customer in one of the global locations, Singapore, for one of the largest bank. And I was responsible to create the SharePoint server architecture, and that was within the time frame of 4 to 8 hours. And we completed that, and the customer was delighted to have that.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. So, is it safe to say that that would be your special moment, or do you have any other special moments that stand out?
Oh,
Not
there are
challenging, not the best ones, but something that stands out.
there are multiple in the 20-year plus journey, but I'll give you one example where I was working with one of the customers, and during that interaction, I found that the customer has invested lots of TCO on the on-premise with the
Okay.
managed services and third-party softwares, which were of not integration point of view. So what we did was we made the entire ecosystem with the cutting edge technology and cloud cohesive story and presented it to the customer. So the wow factor came into the scenario and it was a win-win for the end customer, which brought smile to many faces during that time.
Great. That's great.
Yeah.
So, okay. So we have enough information about you. We know you now. So let's jump into the crux of this discussion, which is why do enterprises migrate to cloud? Like, is it cost, scalability, agility? How these motivators shift by industries?
Probably in my entire journey, I have always seen customer identifying what is the dollar value in doing the migration and the
Hmm.
modernization. So these are two fundamental principles. If anyone can ask, right, then I think
Okay.
they are in the game. And
Hmm.
I feel that once you do the modernization and overall capex to opex journey, no ops, then I think it's a win-win for the entire customer. So ideally, I would say fundamentally, customer is looking for dollar value. What is the cost economics and optimization of the entire budgeting and time frame of the
Hmm.
TCO which he is invested on, and he is also interested in how it can be futuristic for the
Okay.
enterprise customer.
So by migrating to cloud, what challenges they are trying to solve? Like any business objectives that they are trying to achieve, and how does this change industry wise?
There are multiple objectives, and let me give you an
Hmm.
example. The first and foremost is fundamentally everyone today in the industry is today looking at cloud computing and enabling access to wide range of cutting edge technology and making
Hmm.
that cohesive storyline for day one and day two operations using
Okay.
machine learning and artificial intelligence and big data and IoT. So these
Okay.
innovative technologies empower the overall business to innovate and differentiate themselves in the market. The second
Hmm.
is collaboration and connectivity. The cloud
Okay.
computing facilitates collaboration among the teams by providing centralized access to resources and overall tools, right? And it enables
Hmm.
a seamless sharing, collaboration of documents, code repositories like GitHub and versioning, and other assets of the enterprise business, regardless of the team member geographically locations. The last
Hmm.
factor which I feel is the most important is the scalability, where people are looking to scale up and scale down as per their business requirements, which is super
Hmm.
exciting and transformative technology which continues to shape the future of IT infrastructure and business operations.
Okay, that's insightful. So
Yeah.
now let's say a company wants to migrate to cloud. So from the first idea of migrating to cloud, the first discussions around it, to the final step, what is this journey like? Like how long is it? What are the key phases and stuff like that?
The most important part, I would say, to start with, is the cost efficiency. And when a customer is looking for modernization of their entire estate and the
Hmm.
TCO, they are looking for cloud computing, often which operates as pay-you-go model. But
Hmm.
people also understand that if you want to save the cost, then we should look at the risk analysis and the compliance and the physical infrastructure, capital expenditures, and things like that. Apart
Hmm.
from all that, you can look at the RI instances, on demand, spot instances, and purchase them for long term
Hmm.
efficiency approach to
Okay.
eliminate the need of large capital expenditures for overall infrastructure and application, which allows organizations to better manage their IT budgets. The second
Hmm.
one is the global reach. So today, all the hyperscalers in the industry are operating the data centers in multiple regions and worldwide.
Hmm.
So allowing the businesses to deploy their applications closer to their target audience is super important. And this global reach ensures low latency and improved performance for the users across the geographically dispersed locations where users are working on day-to-day basis.
Hmm.
Last and foremost point, which I fundamentally believe, is cloud providers and hyperscalers today typically offer modernization journey and transformation of robust infrastructure and redundancy measures to be taken for high availability, DR, reliability of the services overall. The reliability minimizes the overall downtime, and it ensures that the businesses today are delivering consistently without uninterrupted services to their end customers.
Yes.
Fundamentally, if I have to sum up, cloud providers today invest heavily in implementing overall security measures to protect the data and the infrastructure from the authorized access,
Okay.
data breaches, and other security threats which are today looming around.
Hmm.
Leveraging the expertise of cloud providers can often result in strong security posture that what many organizations can achieve on their own with the
Hmm.
native technology which is today available on their hands.
Okay. So, like this journey of a company of migrating to cloud, what would it be like?
So journey can be overall taking into account like challenges which are requiring constant learning and adaptation, using the cutting edge technology, staying up to date with the latest advancements in the AI research and
Hmm.
technology to provide accurate and futuristic, predictive, helpful responses to the end users. It's an ongoing challenge which
Okay.
requires the adaptation and scalability on that. But fundamentally, it's also important for all the organizations during the entire journey of transformation. By leveraging cloud computing, they can also reduce the carbon footprint and energy consumption compared to maintenance of on-premise data center. So the point which I'm talking here is related to environmental sustainability, and
Hmm.
cloud providers often use energy efficient infrastructure and implement the green practices to minimize the environment impact. So that's a quick summarization of the entire journey. But
Okay.
overall, the versatility, scalability, innovation potential offered by cloud computing during the transformation makes it more exciting for all the application which is today available, and which is transformative technology continues to the shape future of the IT infrastructure and business operations.
So, yeah, no, I was saying, let's say I am an IT head of a company, okay, an enterprise, and there's one more guy on the same post. So I am currently on premise. My
Yeah,
infrastructure is on premise, and I
yeah,
want to move to cloud. And the other guy, he's already on some cloud, and he wants to move cloud to cloud.
okay.
So how do these two journeys differ?
Okay, so see, the entire transformation journey, organizations should prioritize, first of all, the fundamental principle is they should prioritize with the features like collaboration,
Hmm.
communication, and alignment between the IT and business stakeholders to
Hmm.
ensure the successful realization of strategic business goals and objectives and the value creation of the organization as a whole.
Okay.
So, additionally, flexibility and agility are also important and critical as the IT landscape continues to evolve rapidly from on premise to cloud and cloud to cloud, and then from
Hmm.
infrastructure service to PaaS, which is platform as a service, and from platform as a service to SaaS, which is software as a service. It requires organizations to continuously adapt and innovate to stay competitive and
Hmm.
resilient. Most
Yes.
importantly, in today's world, the continuous improvement and innovation is the mantra of remaining at the top and coming up as a winner. So, establishing the mechanism of ongoing evaluation, measurement, optimization of IT processes, frameworks, and accelerating on the performance metrics is super
Hmm.
important.
So when you move from on-premise to cloud, there is bound to be a transition process, right? A
Yes,
transition period, and that will disrupt the business flows, the business processes which are there, which are working on-premise. When you move to cloud, they will be disrupted.
yes.
So, is there a workaround, or we can minimize the disruptions?
Oh, yes. So if we have developed a clear vision and a strategy for the desired future state of IT within an organization, considering the factors such as agility, scalability, security, and if it is well architected fundamentally and cost effective, then the roadmap outlining the steps and milestones required to achieve the desired
Hmm.
outcomes, including the timelines and resource allocation and dependencies, is priority. So the
Hmm.
prioritize initiatives and on business impact creation, feasibility, and alignment with the overall strategic objective is crux of the entire journey. But I would also say, as an update, that the assessment and planning are also comprehensive part of the current IT environment, including the overall process, frameworks, skill sets of the organization, SMEs, infrastructure,
Hmm.
and applications.
Okay.
Also define the clear objectives of the goals as an output for the transformation, which are aligned with the strategic priorities and futuristic goals of enterprise business. Most
Hmm.
importantly, you should be able to identify who are the key stakeholders and establish the governance structure to oversee and guide the transformation time initiative.
So there are a few migration trends that I came across in 2024. So the typical cloud migration journey we looked at, we discussed right now, is that going to change in 2024? And if yes, how so?
Yes, it is going to change, and it is a change as constant as we all know. So I will talk about
Hmm.
multiple instances here where you can take an
Okay.
example of IT industry generally refers to the movement of the data, applications, workloads, or infrastructure from one environment to the other. And these trends
Hmm.
encompasses various type of migrations like cloud migration, for example,
Hmm.
which is a growing trend towards multi-cloud and hybrid cloud strategy, where organizations are today leveraging multiple cloud providers as a multi-cloud solution, or a combination
Hmm.
of cloud and on-premise as a hybrid solution for their diverse business needs.
Hmm.
Second is something like data center consolidation. Many organizations today are looking at the migrating workload applications from multiple data centers hosted to few centralized facility or to the cloud environment, to
Okay.
summarize. Third, legacy system modernization, which includes outdated applications like AS400 and infrastructures which are being modernized or migrated to more modern technologies and architectures. and the caught applications, if migrated to the cloud world, is giving the more agility, scalability, and security to reduce the technical debt and maintenance cost. Application modernization, today organizations are using to leverage cloud native architectures like microservices, Kubernetes, containers, and the serverless computing. And this
Okay.
trend involves 6R approach, refactoring, re-architecting of the monolithic applications into smaller chunks and more modular components which can be deployed and managed more efficiently in the cloud environment. And
Okay.
lastly, we also see a growing trend of database migration from
Mm.
on-premise data center to cloud-based data center
Okay.
database platform or managed databases services, which are today available at ease. And database
Mhm.
migration aims to improve more scalability, availability, redundancy, high availability of performance, and reducing administrative overhead and infrastructure
Okay.
cost overall.
So I was going through a few articles when I was preparing for this discussion with you, and I came across this hot debate which is happening right now, which is cloud versus on-premise. And founders of 37 Signals, David and Jason, they have written extensively on how moving from cloud back to on-premise and self-managed IT infrastructure is going to save them some millions of dollars up over the period of next 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
absolutely right.
what assessment do you make of it?
Okay, so most importantly, if I have to summarize and give you an example, an anecdote on this, today there are a lot of compliance and security migrations and regulatory migration based on for banking industry as per RBI regulations.
Mhm.
Organizations today are migrating their data and applications to comply and regulatory requirements meets such as GDPR, HIPAA standards, or industry specific regulations. Compliance driven migrations, which are today available, often involve implementing stricter security controls, which has data encryption
Okay.
technologies and auditing mechanism involved. And most importantly, if I have to give you a overall trend, then there is a growing trend of multi-cloud hyperscaler and hybrid cloud strategy, which is today taking over the entire cutting edge agile methods of deploying the
Hmm.
diverse business requirements for an enterprise customer. And
Okay.
migration trends in the context of IT generally refers to movement of data applications and workloads.
So, for what applications or use cases, on-premise is still the best option rather than going to cloud? And what applications are still better off on pure cloud? So like on-premise means on your, so you are managing all the infrastructure, it is on your premise, and cloud, it is on public cloud or whatever.
Let me give you an example of the
Hmm.
advantages of cloud computing, first of all, in short. The first and foremost is the cost efficiency. Second is
Hmm.
scalability, vertical and horizontal. Third is the overall agility and
Hmm.
velocity and flexibility provided by cloud computing hyperscalers in the industry
Hmm.
today. You have the accessibility and collaborative platforms today available as the
Hmm.
cloud platform to enable managed services and accelerate innovation and reduce the operational overhead for time to value for IT projects. And you have reliability, availability, and overall global reach. But to summarize and give you, both on premise and cloud computing models offer unique
Hmm.
advantages, and the
Okay.
choice between them is depending on the factors such as security requirements, what is the
Hmm.
customization requirements, what are the cost considerations and
Okay.
scalability requirement and the strategy objective. Today, many
Hmm.
organizations are adopting hybrid approach, leveraging combination of on-premise and cloud resources computing to achieve optimal behavior and balancing of control, flexibility, efficiency of their IT infrastructure overall.
So we just spoke about public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud, multi-cloud. You gave me a few examples of all of them, some instances here and there. So continuing on that discussion, how can I decide which cloud is best suited for my application?
There is no mantra for deciding which hyperscaler or cloud is better for the business requirement, but it depends what kind of
Okay.
flexibility, cost efficiency, and scalability customer is today looking at, and what kind of global reach is today customer looking at. So if a customer is today looking at high availability and redundancy, then definitely we should go for hyperscalers which are today available in a public cloud platform. But if customer is also looking for cost optimization, security,
Hmm.
and predictable cost, then private cloud is the option for them. But
Okay.
most importantly, if customer is today looking for the performance and less overhead management and using
Hmm.
the scalability and managed services of cloud computing, then public cloud is today available. But if you want to have mix of both, then best of both worlds, public plus private is available on premise. So you can use a hybrid cloud approach in that to maintain and achieve the optimal balance of control, flexibility, and efficiency of the IT infrastructure which company has invested on.
Moving on to migration, there are so many migration strategies. I read about a few. Lift and shift is one,
Yeah.
replatforming is one. So, help me decode which suits what scenarios, goals, budget the best.
So while selecting a
Okay.
migration strategy, enterprise business should always consider factors such as business objectives, technical requirements, and cost considerations. What are the risk
Hmm.
tolerance and the timeline constraints? It is super essential
Okay.
to perform thorough planning, assessment, and testing to ensure a smooth and successful migration process while minimizing the disruption to the business operations. And additionally,
Hmm.
I feel organizations may benefit from leveraging migration tools, automation, and expertise
Okay.
from the cloud service provider or third party consultants to streamline and migrating the processes and overall optimization outcomes can be achieved. But most importantly, if I have to give migration strategy approach, that to transfer
Hmm.
data, application, transformation, workload, and infrastructure from one environment to the other, from on-premise to cloud, between different cloud providers also. Some of the examples are rehosting, which means we are doing lift and shift. It involves
Okay.
applications, movement, or workloads from on premise infrastructure to the cloud with minimal or no modifications. And it is
Okay.
relatively very fast and straightforward. The second one is
Hmm.
the replatform, which means it
Okay.
involves making some adjustment to the application workload or changing the platform of the applications, right? And taking the advantage of cloud native features while minimizing the disruption. Examples
Hmm.
include migrating database to manage databases services, upgrading operating system to optimizing configuration for cloud performance. And third one is the
Okay.
refactoring, which means doing the re-architecting. It involves the redesigning of the architecture and cloud native services and the
Okay.
serverless architecture inclusion. And it involves monolithic applications into microservices, adopting the serverless computing and
Hmm.
storage services. It typically requires more time and effort and expertise, but can result in cost effectiveness later on. And the last one
Okay.
is hybrid cloud, which means combination of on-premise and cloud-based infrastructure.
Hmm.
So you can leverage that as well.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So I am, let's say again, I'm putting myself in the shoes of IT head of an enterprise, and I am skeptical of migrating my brittle legacy ERP system to cloud. So as cloud practices head, how will you resolve those anxieties of mine?
Okay, that's a very good, fair question. So, the most important part in solving the migrational journey and identifying the migrational strategy to the
Hmm.
method and approaches to transfer your application for enterprise business and workloads and infrastructure from one environment to the other, or a data center movement is looking to approach in either replatforming, rehosting, refactoring the architecture or repurchase, or doing the retirement of the applications, which involves
Hmm.
old applications which can be decommissioned and sunset and which are no longer needed. You can
Okay.
come to the overall planning, drop and shop of exercise, which involves replacing existing application or software with equivalent cloud based alternative, such as migrating
Okay.
from on-premise enterprise resource planning ERP system to software as a service solutioning. So this strategy can
Okay.
simplify migration and reduce the maintenance overhead by leveraging vendor managed
Hmm.
services.
Okay, so what you are basically saying is my legacy system, we can retire that and we can completely move to a new modern cloud-based application, which is SaaS model or it can be
Yes,
any model.
absolutely correct.
So I went through a lot of articles, and while reading on cloud, modernization comes along in every single article. So like, do modernizing systems go hand in hand with cloud migration? Like, is it necessary or is it just fluff?
Oh, ideally, the modernization of cloud is looking through a single pane of glass for multi-cloud
Hmm.
management. Today, people are looking at organizations which significantly can increase their overall productivity, lower the total cost of ownership of
Hmm.
cloud management tools, and cut release the cycle times from weeks to little as an hour. So most
Okay.
importantly, this helps meet the requirements of various application types, regulatory requirements of business units. For example, multinational businesses today may need to use local cloud provider to meet data privacy requirements in various
Hmm.
geographies, and may prefer to use analytic application development or AI based services which cloud provider offers. Today,
Hmm.
an integrated cloud management platform can reduce these hurdles by providing greater visibility into the control over multi-cloud environment and giving a single pane of glass and providing greater optimization and security as an ever-changing mix of public, private, cloud servicing, which is growing as of today. So based on
Okay.
the client experiences and unified integration and user
Hmm.
interface layer, along with the associated workflows and best practices, it is more important that operational efficiency can be cut one third from total cost of ownership of cloud management tools. For
Okay.
example, provisioning, configuration of application deployment tools, financial management tools, ITSM tools, security compliance, if they can be used as a whole in principle, they can be a win-win for all enterprise customers.
So, in a recent cloud modernization report that I read by Rackspace, they claim that 9 out of 10 respondents believe modernization is necessary because of AI. So, does AI truly affect cloud modernization urgency? Like, is it a significant enough factor?
Let me take an example of an international provider of electricity and natural gas related services, such as appliance
Okay.
repair, energy generation, and energy management to homes in Europe and
Hmm.
North America. It was
Okay.
operating more than 3,000 servers, 1,000 PaaS instances, and more than
Okay.
100 network devices across the Azure, AWS, and Hitachi Enterprise Cloud. So,
Okay.
the larger and more complex an enterprise, the more cloud platform it is likely to rely on. And
Hmm.
the more challenging it is to manage them efficiently and securely, right? So, however,
Hmm.
the lack
Yes.
of unified cloud platform, that company was likely spending too much of cloud resources and getting in return very little in terms of performance and
Hmm.
security and reliability. The company faced number of challenges: excessive cost, performance, increased management of cost due to the inability to monitor performance and
Hmm.
reliability, reduced security and compliance due to the lack of security controls, and increased
Hmm.
time. So the answer to all of these questions lies in cohesive storyline planning of creating day one operations and day two operations using automation, where we can create a
Okay.
single pane of glass for multi-cloud management using
Hmm.
our Netcon tool, which is completing the high availability and disaster recovery, and also fully automating and building compliant build across public and cloud, offering users a choice of more than 35 standard blueprints and design patterns, which we have ready made on day one.
Okay.
And the benefits
Hmm.
are new cloud services are now operational within a week of general availability, which was used earlier in the market delivery of the products, new products.
Okay, now let's move to cybersecurity in cloud. So Gartner published that any cybersecurity risk that comes during cloud migration these days is because of the carelessness and lenient security policies at the client's end. So
Yes,
cloud providers right now are more protected than ever before.
yes.
So what cybersecurity threats do these leniencies from the client's end pose?
Cybersecurity is a critical aspect of modern business operations and requires a
Hmm.
proactive and multi-dimensional approach to effectively protect against evolving cyber threats which are every day. So, by implementing robust security measures, fostering a culture of
Hmm.
security awareness, and staying
Hmm.
vigilant and using native emerging technologies against the emerging threats, organizations can mitigate cybersecurity risk and safeguard their digital assets and reputation. We can
Okay.
also bring in use the advancement of emerging technologies such as AI based blockchain, quantum computing, which are reshaping the cybersecurity landscape. These
Hmm.
also introduce cybersecurity challenges considering the organizations which they must address to the compliance and regulations. And organizations today are looking at GDPR policies, HIPAA compliant, PCI, DSX, SOX
Hmm.
model, and other to protect their sensitive data and ensure privacy and maintain the trust and customers with the stakeholders. So compliance framework provides guideline to implement security control and demonstrating regulatory requirements. And most
Okay.
importantly, risk management is super important approach where organizations can identify, assess, prioritize, and do remediation of security risk in cybersecurity based on the
Hmm.
potential impact of the business operations they are working on. And risk
Oh,
management frameworks such as NIST cybersecurity, ISO standard 27001, and CIS
hmm.
controls provide guidelines for overall management of cybersecurity and risk to manage them efficiently.
So now that cybersecurity is covered, oftentimes there is a gap between what people expect out of cloud migrations, the results, and the actual outcomes after the cloud migrations. So, like, why is there this gap? Like, where do they go wrong?
So the most important part is what kind of a cloud adoption model we are following, and what is the
Hmm.
architectural framework. Are we doing the well architected review? And have we created and
Hmm.
chosen a migration strategy? So organizations today should consider the factors such as business objectives, what are their goals for futuristic plan, and
Hmm.
systematic technical requirement, what are the cost considerations, and what are the risk tolerance and timeline constraint. So if we look at all
Okay.
these fundamental pillars of migrating application or infrastructure for an organization, it is super important for everyone to understand and plan and do an assessment and do a thorough testing to ensure smooth functioning of migrating processes without minimizing the disruption to the existing business operations.
Hmm. So now, how
Additionally,
do I set my
yeah.
okay? So like I am an enthusiast. Okay, I am excited about moving to cloud. How do I set my expectations right that okay, after moving to cloud, this is what I can expect.
Oh, so the basic fundamental part of using cloud is to you can use the factors such as data residency, performance requirements, and cost
Hmm.
considerations. These are some basic points which everyone should look at, and
Okay.
innovating in is the important factor. So today cloud computing enables access to wide range of cutting edge technologies and services which are today available 24 by 7. These
Hmm.
technologies are empowering organizations to innovate and differentiate themselves today in the market and create go to market strategy, driving the business
Okay.
growth and competitive advantage. Overall,
Okay.
cloud computing offers multiple benefits like scalability, flexibility, security, innovation, global reach,
Hmm.
collaboration, empowering the organization to accelerate their digital transformation journey and achieve these strategic goals and objectives.
So any real life challenge that you have faced while working on cloud, like biggest challenge that you have faced so far, you can give me an example.
Um, Challenges in the cloud.
Yeah, toughest challenge that you have faced so far
Okay.
when it comes to cloud.
Yes. So there was a customer where I was working in US for one of the large retail customer, and they were looking
Okay.
for data privacy and security compliance. That
Hmm.
while cloud computing offers multiple benefits, organizations are today also facing, and there is no denying fact that there are challenges while adopting and managing cloud adopt environments. Some common challenges which that customer was facing was related to the security and compliance and data privacy. And
Okay.
additionally, the organizations, we suggested them to comply with the regulatory requirements of the industry standards and additional challenges for cloud compliance, which can do the protection
Okay.
of their sensitive data, ensuring the data privacy in the cloud, and doing the governance of the policies and data classification schemes and data management
Okay.
lifecycle process to maintain the data integrity and confidentiality of compliance and privacy regulation. Also,
Okay.
multiple times there was a vendor lock-in which was occurring when the organization become dependent
Hmm.
on single cloud provider for the infrastructure and application or services, which makes it super difficult to switch providers or opt for
Hmm.
another cloud provider and migrate loads to the alternative environment. So those are some challenges which the customer in US where I was working was facing.
I think we can conclude the crux discussion here. And
Okay.
before moving on to the rapid fire, we have a rapid fire for you. But before moving on to rapid fire, I have one question. What does a working day in Rohit's life at Netcon looks like right now as
Oh,
a
I
cloud practices head?
thank you, Deep, for asking that question. I'm always looking for agile, cutting edge technologies to ramp up on, to help customers
Okay.
doing modernization and communicating with customers every day. Uh, how I can maintain the gap in skills in my team is super important, and complete those gaps
Okay.
and navigating to the evolving cloud ecosystem by selecting the right mix of cloud services, technologies, which are
Hmm.
a daunting task for organization with limited cloud expertise, which we have today. Most importantly, how we can help
Hmm.
customers scale up on day-to-day basis in terms of capex to opex and cost management, and how we
Hmm.
can help them in the overall uh, challenges and pain points which customer is today going through. So those are some
Okay.
top concerns which I am always working on every day and helping the customers.
Okay. So we are at the rapid fire round now. I will
Yes.
give you a question and you have to answer whatever the first comes to your mind.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll begin. What is the one game changer migration innovation that you think of?
The most important part is the complexity. When we do the migration,
Okay.
managing the cloud environments can be complex, but it requires the cloud expertise in cloud architecture, designing, network, and security and automation.
Okay. Biggest hindrance to cloud migration? Like what is the biggest hurdle?
Oh, the biggest hurdle is the data integration and interoperability, which can be
Okay.
cloud based applications and data with existing on premise in different data formats, protocols, and APIs. So, organizations must ensure seamless interoperability.
Okay. One tech lesson that you learned the hard way.
The one lesson which I learned hard way is uh,
Yes.
never go beyond your the limits, and always strive for the best and look for the
Okay.
cloud performance and latency issues which can impact the application responsiveness for the end user to
Okay.
migrate the data to cloud.
An advice that you always give to the stakeholders.
Never get into vendor lock-in and always work on migrating towards OPEX from CAPEX.
Okay. And last question, last rapid fire. One hot take about the cloud domain.
The one hot take is the threat detection, which is today looming around in the entire industry. The
Okay.
organizations should comply with the regulatory requirements and industry such as the GDPR, PCI, SOC 2, HIPAA 27,000
Hmm.
audits, which are today available for the cloud compliance.
Okay. Okay. So that wraps the rapid fire round. Thank you, Rohit, for doing this. It was
Thank you.
great chatting to you. Thank you for taking out the time. Uh,
Thanks, Deep. I'm
we
glad.
hope to see you again on this podcast.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. And that concludes our second episode. I hope to catch you guys in the next one. And I hope this added value to your life in some way or other.
Thanks, Deep.